6 rounds to go now of the 2016 FF1M season. Here's the first of those 6, round 14, the Italian Grand Prix at legendary Monza. And it seems tradition now that he is joining me for the Italian Grand Prix. It's Courtney Cass from Shake and Bake.
Hello.
And we'll do a quick recap of the previous race, which somehow saw Sebastian Vettel take a pole position.
I think I went quite high on the old ERS last time round, which I've done again this time. Mind you, that won't affect the qualifying performance, will it?
It will not.
It will affect the race performance, so hopefully I'll be quite competitive here, because we were quite competitive until Vettel bottled it, which he's been doing quite a bit recently.
A little bit, yeah, and he finished 7th in the end, and the last race was in fact won by a different Yorkshire team, not myself. James Whiteley's Extra-Light with Fernando Alonso, a virtuoso performance in his 280th race.
Who was that?
Alonso.
Whose team? Oh, who's the team?
Extra-Light.
Who owns that team?
The question I've forgotten.
Yeah, I can't remember who that guy is now.
Anyway, on to the present. 1 or 2 stops expected for this race, which last season was won by a customer. We didn't have any ERS at all to play with, but it was a very powerful Mugen engine in the back of a GRM, Valtteri Bottas. There's a look at the back straight going into the Ascari chicane, slight left-hand curve called the Seraglio corner. And it's gone well in qualifying for both of us. We're both on the front row, but it is Kevin Magnussen who takes his 4th pole position of his career, his 5th according to the graphic. I think it is his 4th actually. There's Sebastian Vettel who joins him on the front row. Second row is the ass man, Valtteri Bottas, alongside Nico Hülkenberg in 4th. So both FJRs in the top 4. Thomas Gonzalez 5th for Tornado, and then Daniel Ricciardo, the Honey Badger himself, in 6th for Andrew Racing.
He's had a solid season, Ricciardo.
Solid season, although Andrews haven't scored in the past 3 races now. Hopefully they can, for their sake, they can get it back together. Cooper Lee 7th, Sergio Perez 8th. Then it's Suki Yoshida with his best qualifying of the season. He's quite pleased with that, is Courtney. And Grosjean 10th. Then Hamilton way down in 11th, but he did top the first practice session, so I suspect he's gone more race setup focused in that Mitchell. Rosberg 12th. It's Hamilton, Rosberg, row 6. Best of friends, those two. Kimi Raikkonen will be 13th on the grid, ahead of Tony Coast 14th. Carlos Sainz 15th, ahead of Felipe Massa in 16th place. James Clark, one of the fresh faces on the grid this season, in 17th.
Has a very fresh face. He looks about 12, bless him.
And alongside his teammate Jean-Eric Vergne. Then there's the other, slightly less fresh face, but recently replaced Nicholas Latifi, who was last seen shunting that driver there, Fernando Alonso, out of the race at Hockenheim.
Yeah, Sam Bird, he looked a bit like he... Might have to edit that out, I don't know.
Just getting all the politically incorrect stuff out before the race starts, which I'm a bit nervous for because the 5 lights go out and it's normally a bit of a dodgy run into the first chicane, but a good start from Kevin Magnussen, less so for Sebastian Vettel. He's got Bottas alongside him into the first corner. Hülkenberg looking quite lonely up in 4th place, but let's see what happens into the first chicane. They're fairly well behaved, but Tony Coast nudging the back of Hamilton, I think that was. But they do get through fairly safely. So, round the Curva Grande is Kevin Magnussen in the race lead. Valtteri Bottas moving up into 2nd ahead of Sebastian Vettel, who's trying to come back at him into the Roger chicane.
Oh.
Contact, and Bottas has been shunted into a spin, and I think that's let Hülkenberg through into 2nd place. So bad luck there for the GRM driver.
Yeah, that was and Vettel's down in 5th actually, so he's not rejoined very well at all there.
No, he's not gotten away with that one, and the main beneficiary, the 2 Tornadoes, now 3rd and 4th, but Sergio Perez is looking to try and do something about Thomas Gonzalez down the back straight into the Ascari chicane, and side by side, and quite forceful, but they both get through pretty safely. And further back, are there any incidents? We do tend to see some incidents into the Ascari chicane, but I think they've all gotten through pretty safely. But through the Parabolica, it is Kevin Magnussen leading the race.
You've got a feel for Bottas.
Definitely.
He had a really good start there, and he got... Yeah, it was probably on Vettel that, maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe so.
Maybe so, but I'll just gonna swiftly move past that and favour my own driver there and say, well, you know what?
Well,
he did nothing wrong, actually, is what I'm going to say.
Perez off. And he just went in a bit too quickly into the first chicane, and Gonzalez himself was being attacked by Sebastian Vettel, who is probably going to begin at some sort of... Hulkenberg straight away on lap 2. His engine has blown up. That's worrying.
I did see some smoke before. I wonder if that was a precursor to that, or if it was just somebody locking up.
It could have been... Was it Perez just trying to make it through the chicane?
Might have been, yeah.
But yeah, that's a much more telltale sign of smoke for Nico Hulkenberg, who is out of the race.
He is doing a good job of holding the field up, though, whilst your boy Magnussen gets away. I think Vettel got past one of the tornadoes during that as well. Yeah,
Vettel moving ahead of Gonzalez at some point. I think that must have been into the Roger chicane, the second one. But Hulkenberg's still trying to... He's not giving up, but... He's going to have to admit defeat sooner rather than later, as Ricciardo versus all sorts of people. He's trying to attack Gonzalez while at the same time being defending from Romain Grosjean. There's a new fastest lap for Magnussen. How big's his lead at the start of lap 3? It is 7 seconds, partly thanks to Hulkenberg. As here comes Vettel versus Perez.
Oh. Okay, well, that was a bit of a clumsy move, but... Yep, no annoying stewards in FF1M, so yeah, he's really been taking no prisoners this race so far as Vettel.
Makes me wonder how much Earth's Tornado are running, because they're slipping back at this early stage, because here comes Ricciardo, up to 3rd place ahead of Sergio Perez, and was that Gonzalez versus Grosjean as well? We'll see Rosberg making a move, or is he defending from Lewis Hamilton? And here's Thomas Gonzalez now trying to attack Sergio Perez, and the opportunity coming into the Ascari chicane. How aggressive is Sergio Perez going to be? Because they're both in some sort of championship battle, but they have to cooperate sooner rather than later. But here comes...
in tears. Ooh.
Just about getting away with it. Perez riding around the outside at the Ascari chicane, and is Gonzalez going to come under pressure from Grosjean? He is. And Grosjean, well, he's got Yoshida to deal with as well. Yoshida remaining in the slipstream of Gonzalez. There's another new fastest lap for Magnussen, but is Vettel quicker on this lap? Just about. Yeah, he is quicker. Vettel the fastest on the circuit at the moment, despite that clumsy turn 1 moment.
I'm just wondering where this pace from Yoshida's come from. I'm going to have a look back on my testing spreadsheet to see if he's done any race setup, because I can't remember. Ever the professional.
Well, I do think the shake and bake's improving as the season's gone along, and I do think as well that at the last engine upgrade before Hockenheim, you must have put quite a lot into the ice.
Yeah, I did. Interesting that the car's improving because I've abandoned development on this year's car, but not on the engine, I suppose. So.
Yeah, because Exolite were very competitive at Spa, and GRM were fairly competitive at Hockenheim, and Bottas was quite quick here as well until Vettel saw to him.
Yeah, can't have a customer finishing before us.
Is this Lee versus Gonzalez into the first chicane? It is, and Lee making that move stick. That's 6th place for the Australian, and Yoshida getting balked at the exit, and that's going to give Hamilton an opportunity around the outside into, and this is how you're supposed to pronounce it, Curva Grande. And Hamilton and Gonzalez coming back at Lee into the Roger chicane. Yep, that's 6th place back for Cooper Lee, and I think Hamilton has just taken Yoshida for 8th.
Yeah. It had to happen. He had to drop out of the points eventually, probably. Just trying to find my spreadsheet at the moment.
Trying to find out what you've done.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sergio Perez moving back up to 3rd ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and Romain Grosjean lurking large as well in an X-Lite, which has been there or thereabouts this season, and with the latest engine upgrade, they've certainly... Oh, a blow-up! That's Ricciardo! Another engine failure for a climax. Ricciardo's engine blew up very early at Hockenheim, and it's done so again at Monza.
He's not going to make another 48 laps out of that.
Definitely not. So one Andrew gone, the other one running in 10th, but it'll soon be 9th unless Da Costa is part of that kerfuffle crossing the start-finish line. And Ricciardo, yet another napalm enema in the back of his Andrew.
Ooh.
Contact! Cooper, both Mitchells making contact. Hamilton shunting Lee off accidentally. Grosjean, another engine failure.
I think you can tell that everybody's really dialed the engines up for this race.
Yeah, we've seen FJR blow up, we've seen an Andrew blow up, now we've seen an X-Lite blow up as the Mitchells navigate their way past Roman Grosjean, who is smoking more than a 1940s chimney. Here's a Gajera, and there's a Meister battling Da Costa, but a Gajera taking Sainz, or is that... It is Sainz, that's Clark versus... Or is it Verne? I don't know. But out goes Grosjean. Oh, off the circuits goes the Gajera.
Oh. Thought he was going to spin into the path of somebody else there.
Nearly right into the path of Sam Bird as well. As what we've got, Alonso versus a Meister. That's Massa versus Alonso. Oh, spin, is that... It's Yoshida. And it's a mistake for the Japanese driver. Well, I do wonder how long he's got left in FF1M, because... You've got a new driver driving for you next season in the form of Nolan Bryant, the American.
Yeah. I was briefly impressed by Yoshida there, but he just completely bottled it after lap 7. So, yeah, I was starting to think, maybe I was a bit harsh on Yoshida. But no, I wasn't.
And Nolan Bryant is a front runner and championship contender in FF2M, and he's had a pretty good meeting because before coming into Monza, Bryant was 15 points behind championship leader Farina. After this Monza meeting in FF2M, he's just 3 points behind now. So he could very much challenge for the championship at the final meeting in Portimao.
Cool. Well, the shake and bake policy is if you've not won FF1M, then you're last.
Through the Parabolica, we've got Tony Coast versus Nico Rosberg, and in front of those, Kimi Raikkonen's made his way up through the field quite nicely, from 13th, I believe, on the grid, up to 7th. So, a quick look at Da Costa trying to challenge Rosberg into the Retifilia. Raikkonen running a bit wide, so could be seeing a three-way battle into the Roggia chicane. I think on the previous lap as well, we had a bit of shenanigans involving Verstappen, who, making his way through the field, started 21st. Won't surprise me if Willows have gone very high on the Ers. And, lock up there from Tony Coast going through Roggia.
He might as well just go all out on the Ers now if he's abandoning the engine, and that's not going to end well.
Gonzalez running wide at the Parabolica, and that lets Lewis Hamilton through into 4th place.
For a minute there, I thought it was going to end up like... who was the Lotus driver who absolutely wiped out at the Parabolica in like 1990 or something?
That was Derek Warwick.
Yeah. Thought it was going to end up like that then.
But Gonzalez retaking Hamilton as Magnussen sets another new fastest lap, but I am a bit worried about that Judd engine if Hulkenberg's blew up so early. Coming towards the Parabolica, Mitchell... Tornado, Mitchell, and a battle for 7th between Kimi Raikkonen and Nico Rosberg. Rosberg on the inside, and through into 7th place goes Nico in his last FF1M season before he retires to probably become a YouTube personality.
Yoshida did do a little bit of race setup.
Bit of race setup for Yoshida.
A bit of race setup, yeah. So that's where a bit of the extra pace came from.
As Fernando Alonso's now on the move, Raikkonen's lost a position to the X-Lite driver and to the recovering ass-man, Valtteri Bottas. Bottas now up to 9th in a GRN that looks quite quick. And just behind, who've we got? We've got Tony Coast, Felipe Massa. This could end badly between the two Finns. And they're going to have a third Finn to deal with next season because Väinö Kimminen, FF2M frontrunner, will be joining Tornado next season.
It sounds like a very wonky fish that only has 3 fins.
A Väinö Kimminen.
Let's just move on.
And 2 more FF2M drivers graduating next season. Championship leader Alessandro Farina and Caterina Caracciolo, who will be an FJR driver next season. As Fernando Alonso moves into 7th place ahead of Nico Rosberg, And Exolite's running the hards. There is a new one there. Now, actually, James Whiteley has been quite good with his spreadsheet this season, and maybe that's what helped Fernando Alonso to victory in Spa. So, looking at Verstappen versus Bottas, I think he's dropped back behind quite a few drivers. He was running in 9th for a bit, but yeah, he's dropped down to 13th, so not sure what's happened to Valtteri there, as he's trying to challenge Max Verstappen, going round the outside of Curva Grande. This will become the inside, but Verstappen shutting the door quite aggressively on Valtteri, as, look at that, the Gajira trying to go around the outside of him at the chicane. It's Jean-Eric Verne. And yeah, just having another quick look at your spreadsheet to see what he did.
I was just having a look to see what engine mode I was running, and given that one of the customers blew up and they can run a maximum of 69, let's just say I'm quite concerned.
Yep, for Vettel and Yoshida, although both are still running.
Well, for Vettel.
For Vettel mostly. Still in second. As inside, that's a lot of turning lock for Max Verstappen as he tried to make the move but didn't succeed. And there's still a bit of shuffling going on in the back. I think that was Sam Bird making a tit out of himself. As on board with Jean-Eric Verne, I'm going to try and get as many bird puns in as possible. Oh, 3 wide, that's going to end well. Oh. It's not ended well. And that's a Gajira, that's a Pedersen, and then that's Yoshida.
Well, look, I like your spirit. That's 2 cars that he got past there. Unconventional way of doing it, but
yep.
2 cars past on the left. He's got fighting spirit.
As more contact this time between Tony Kirst and a GRM. Is that Valtteri Bottas? It is indeed. As let's see who's trying to take advantage of that. I think that is Verstappen once again. And here's a Gajira coming into shot as well. It's Jean-Eric Verne. Now, is it going to be 3 wide again, or are they going to be playing it sensible this time? Rather boringly, they've gone for the latter option. Another new fastest lap for Kevin Magnussen as he leads on lap 14, now into the Ascari, side by side between 2 lots of drivers. But Max Verstappen losing out a bit, and now he's under pressure from Jean-Eric Verne, who scored a 2nd place last time out at Spa in what was a good drive in a car that's not really been on it at all this season. Surprisingly
as well. I always tip Gajira to do very well, but the last couple of seasons, that's not come true.
No, it does also make me wonder if Guy went quite heavy on the engine, the ice on the upgrade to Hockenheim, because the other Mugen runners, Mitchell and Pedersen, look quite competitive, and in Hockenheim, Spa, and where's the highest Mugen in this one? It's Cooper Lee in 4th place, only 2.5 seconds behind Sergio Perez, who doesn't look particularly quick, but he's still up there in 3rd. Another new lap. Look, Magnussen started his 15th lap, and this lot have only just gone into the Rogers chicane, so could be seeing a lot of lap runners. As into the pits quite early comes Cooper Lee. That's the first of 2 stops for the Australian. Now, where's he going to rejoin? 6.3 seconds stop, 25 more laps of fuel on board, so you normally run it to about 2 or 3 laps of fuel. So that should take Cooper Lee up to about lap 38, as he rejoins in 8th place behind Nico Rosberg, but ahead of Felipe Massa.
I'm just keeping an eye on the gap at the front, and whilst it has been stretching, there's some more Friday evening works do karting event driving there. But yeah, that gap has shrunk a little bit last lap, although it has been growing overall still.
It was 13.3 seconds as they started lap 15. Now, as Magnussen starts 16, Vettel will do so in about 13.5 seconds' time. Let's see the gap. 13.6.
Yeah, stable.
0.3 of a second slower than Magnussen on that lap, as Sainz and Tony Kirst battle away for 14th place.
Yeah, I think this is Magnussen's race minus any crashes or reliability issues at this point.
Yeah, it's reliability that's the big concern for me at the moment. As up the inside into the Ascari goes Jean-Eric Verne on Itsuki Yoshida, and now Stoffel Vandoorne's coming into play. Haven't seen much of Vandoorne in this race, but it'd be nice to see Vandoorne get a good result. He's had a pretty wretched season.
Like he did in real F1. That guy did not live up to the hype. There goes
Verstappen.
Max.
Yet another Willows-Ilmore issue, so is that the parabolica that he's pulled off? Could be. It's definitely mechanical. You can see that red circle up on his dashboard at the top. Here comes a Marshall. There comes another new fastest lap for Magnussen, 20.5 this time, and it's a gearbox problem. So, looking at one of the Gajeras going through the parabolica, that looks a bit too wide, and off goes Jean-Eric Verne. Right into the path of it. I think it was Science right into the path of.
Oh, God.
This looks ominous for Itsuki Yoshida, currently in 18th place.
I didn't even nearly make that. Bloody hell, that's some strong suspension.
We've seen this with Yoshida. He had quite a few sizable whacks in Austria as he tries to spin and rejoin.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right, get him on the phone. What the hell is he doing?
Who have you got him on the phone to? The job centre?
I was going to say get me on the phone with him because I'm going to make him pit and take his place.
Are you going to get Kubica to drive in the last few races?
Nah, me. I'm getting in. I'm driving for him. Say, look, you're not driving this car anymore. He's been like so many of my second drivers. Like looked promising at the start and they've just kind of fallen off completely. I mean, I don't know what it is that makes every single driver do this. It could be something to do with the environment, but I mean that can't be right. That would mean that I do a bad job as a team manager, and that can't be possible.
There's another battle. Oh, way too hot.
Wow. Okay, I take it back, Yoshida. That was. Who was in the other car?
Well, it's Sam Bird. Again, multiple tits of himself and somebody else. But yeah, that's a candidate for Bandit of the Season right there.
Who's playing chicken with the other car?
Yeah. James Clark into the parabolica, wide at the apex, wide at the corner.
It's just amateur hour.
And he smashed his front wheels out, so it's James Clark out of the race. And there's traffic in the way. Is anybody going to get caught up in that? Let's hope not. But back with Bottas, he's chasing Cooper Lee. And I was about to mention that both Meisters doing quite well in this race. Massa in 8th and Raikkonen in 11th at the moment, although Raikkonen was briefly in 9th place. So Meister, well, they're departing FF1M next season. AJ Motorsports will be making their return and taking over Willows' Ilmore engines, but they'll be rebadged as Hart. But if you remember that name from the old F1 days.
Jordan Hart? Yeah,
there was a Jordan Hart, a few others with Hart engines as well, but yeah, mostly Jordan.
I'm impressed with myself that I remembered that. Okay, this is ominous.
His pit indicators on, so this is Magnussen due into the pits this lap. He's built up quite a gap over Sebastian Vettel, 17.3 seconds. He'll rejoin comfortably in second because he's some 32 seconds ahead of Sergio Perez. I think Rosberg is in the pits because his name's dropping down. As Massa's up into 7th, Bottas back into the points, but into the pits now comes Kevin Magnussen. Is this going to be 1 or 2 stops that he's running? Because it's a bit late for a 2, but a bit early for a 1. Because we're now on lap 23.
If he's on a 1 stop, then call off the race. Because there ain't no catching him.
There is a 1-stop strategy that Magnussen's running, so I think this is the start of the 1-stop strategies now.
Wow. Have that pace and be on a 1-stop is pretty incredible.
I did do some setup work with Magnussen in first practice. Hulkenberg did not have any setups at all.
Sebi in on the same lap. Let's see.
Verne out. Jean-Eric Verne out of the race. And I didn't catch the fuel load of Vettel, unfortunately. But we'll have another look. Here's how Verne retired in exactly the same place as his teammate James Clark.
It's understeers.
And both front wheels again.
Absolute carbon copy.
Absolute mirror of the incident with Clark a bit earlier on. So that could be a soft tyre thing. Both Gajeras running soft tyres only in this race. A few on mediums, most taking hards. As up the inside.
Wow. You didn't even nearly make that.
Yeah, legally that shouldn't happen, but we don't have penalties. We haven't had penalties in FF1M since 2002. And they worked a bit differently as well. If you caused an incident, then you were penalised for the next race in qualifying. You're basically just like running 2 horsepower engines, just to make sure that you start last. That was your penalty. As Massa takes Fernando Alonso for 6th. Felipe Massa doing very well. He started 16th on the grid and making his one-stop strategy work. And what we got? Rosberg versus Lee round Curva Grande.
Lee needs to be careful because Rosberg's driving a bit like a Pratt today.
Is he trying to emulate Sam Bird? But yeah, Kimi Raikkonen now. We're seeing positions changing all over the place. Raikkonen past Rosberg, now challenging Cooper Lee, so we could see both Meisters in the top 8, and indeed we do. Kimi Raikkonen moves up into 8th place.
A wise old head, not making as many mistakes as these young guns.
And here's one of the wisest of them all, Nico Rosberg, trying to get past Cooper Lee. They're still side by side through the Ascari chicane, but that's okay. So let's do a quick recap. We've got Magnussen leading from Sergio Perez and then Lewis Hamilton. As we have a look at Cooper Lee going through the Parabolica, there's a little bit of a wobble and a spin for Cooper Lee. Half spin, proper spin.
That's not going to be good.
Now he needs to rejoin quickly before anybody else comes and clatters his rear end.
Yep.
Speaking of rear end, have you got an ad read approaching?
I do indeed. Hold on a minute. I got distracted by trying to find my spreadsheet, so I came off.
The two
came off the ad
GRMs.
read, but thanks for reminding me.
2 GRMs going into combat as Lewis Hamilton comes into the pits from 3rd place. He'll lose that to Sebastian Vettel. Should probably rejoin ahead of Felipe Massa though. And Lewis Hamilton, so championship leader by 12 points from Kevin Magnussen. And I'd say he is the favourite because Mitchell Mugen is one of the more reliable cars of the season. Only one mechanical failure. Same as Tornado actually, but it seems that Mitchell have outdeveloped Tornado a little bit. Tornadoes have been struggling in recent races. And
I think he might have jacked in his development for this year.
Who knows? Tornado are still leading the Constructors' Championship, so by how many points? I can't remember now. They're all braking very late into the first chicane. We've seen this quite a bit. We saw it in Hockenheim where people were struggling to overtake going through the Ost curve. As Sergio Perez into the pits? It is, yes. Perez into the pits from 2nd place. He was 18 seconds ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Should think that Sebastian will rejoin in 2nd.
Offset strategy though, I think like 8 laps fresher rubber or something like that.
Yeah, he's pitted 8 laps later than Magnussen and Vettel. 8 laps, or is it 7 laps? Could be it's 7 laps later.
Still a good offset though.
Good offset, and a target to rejoin ahead of Lewis Hamilton.
So actually, are they all doing 1 stops?
Well, we're expecting 1 or 2 stops. I think Hulkenberg was 2 stopping, but we never saw how his strategy was going to pan out. Maybe maybe Ricciardo and Grosjean could have been 2 stopping as well. But again, they didn't get far enough into the race. But so I think of what's left, they're all 1 stopping. Maybe some of the lower down might be 2 stopping. Raikkonen and Tony Coast into the pits.
Putting some nice warm new tyres. Speaking of warmth, the blow motion warming vibrating male masturbator is down from 74.99 to 59.99. It's got a rating of 4 stars of just under 300 votes.
Get on that Love Honey website for that deal. And is this going to be a deal breaker for Thomas Gonzalez ahead of Fernando Alonso? A little bit quickly into there, but he made that move stick, and Gonzalez moving up into 5th place. So now both Tornadoes running 3rd and 5th. And with Cooper Lee not in the points, that'll consolidate Tornado's lead in the championship somewhat, as they do hold that over Mitchell. Although Tobias has been a bit pessimistic about his championship chances of late, but this will surely do it no harm. And Sebastian Vettel is 3.6 seconds ahead of Sergio Perez. We'll keep an eye out on that gap and see how that progresses as we enter the final. A bit wide there from Gonzalez at the first chicane. That's going to put him under pressure from the Spa winner Fernando Alonso. No chance of making the overtake there, but going to try and look at the inside into the Rogia, but Gonzalez being very forceful with his defence, but missing the apex quite noticeably. Gonzalez feeling the pressure. Some
very, erratic lines being taken there.
Yeah, he's defending quite hard, and this is quite a hot corner as well, approaching, because... excuse me. Because you normally see whoever defends, and then once you get properly alongside, if you're defending, they're normally both off the road. But they're hanging on. Off the track. No! His second roll of the season, Fernando Alonso. Well, that was a nice onboard shot of that, but... Now, has Gonzalez gotten away with it? We'll find out on the outboard replay, but let's see how this happens. So, Alonso getting a run, Gonzalez trying to hang on round the outside. That looked like Gonzalez getting a tank slapper at the curb and then right into the path of Alonso. Let's see that theory.
Just not respecting the limits of the car, just going right onto the edge and
somehow getting away with no damage. And that's two races in a row where Gonzalez has flipped somebody into oblivion, because he did that to Da Costa in the previous race.
Yeah, but that's very wild driving, that, to be honest.
Very wild.
Some of the lines he was taking there are then, but at least to make up for it, as he was going back into the circuit, he knocked the front wing off the track. Yeah. So that was thoughtful of him, at least. But yeah, more. I haven't seen lines that aggressive since a night out with Robbie Fowler.
So Yoshida making his recovery drive work, as he's now up into 11th place, looking for his first points of the season. He hasn't had any yet. He's only ever had 2 points finishes in his career. They were Portugal and Monaco in the season before. As battle for second, Vettel versus Perez. Round Curva Grande, and up the inside goes Perez. Looks fairly straightforward, and that is second place for Sergio Perez. Can Vettel fight back? Well, I'd be surprised if he's able to on 7-lap old tyres.
Yep, so there's that offset strategy.
Offset strategy working for Sergio Perez at the moment. He has got... But here comes Sebastian Vettel. He's still in the slipstream. Is he going to do something about Perez into the Ascari?
He was in a bit of a fighty mood today as Vettel, and oh god, what's he going to do now?
He's going to go up the inside of Perez.
Just scared him off the road there.
He's got him back, so Sebastian Vettel not giving that one up in a hurry, as his teammate Yoshida into the pits. So Yoshida might have been two-stopping.
He's going to get lapped.
Get lapped by his own teammate, probably.
Yeah. Anyway, the less I say, the better.
And there goes Yoshida out of the pits. Now, he could do Sebastian Vettel a favour if he slows up a bit and then probably shunts Sergio Perez a little bit.
Or just skip the first chicane entirely.
Well, Perez missed the apex a little bit, but it wasn't a bad run through there. And looking to try and repeat his manoeuvre on Vettel from the previous lap, round the outside of Curva Grande. Look at the logos on the side as well. They were Pirelli last season. Now they're Firestone and Goodyear. That's in respect to the new tyre suppliers for next season, as Perez nearly creams into the side of Sebastian Vettel.
I mean, I just would...
No! Kevin Magnussen's crashed it! Well, you'd forecast that a little bit, but it's happened. He did not need that.
What's he done? Is Ascari? Has he just dropped it into Ascari, or...?
The Ascari chicane. Oh, no chance.
Oh, jeez Louise.
Yeah, that's careless from Magnussen. So now the battle for seconds become the battle for the lead. Vettel versus Perez.
I think that might be the end of his championship then.
Yeah, it could well be, unless something happens to Lewis Hamilton, who's now sitting in third place. And he's not that far behind Vettel and Perez either, just 4.3 seconds.
Yeah, Vettel's going to have to make this car very wide now.
Extremely wide. I'm
just hoping that the longer this goes on, I feel like the less the advantage will be for Perez, probably, because they'll both... I mean, he'll always have that 7-lap advantage, but percentage-wise, they won't be as fresh compared to his, if that makes sense, because they'll both be kind of worn.
Yeah.
But driving like that through the first corner isn't going to help his cause.
No, he missed the first apex, and then he tried to compensate for that in the second, but ended up smoking his tyre a little bit. Now then he is defending from his position quite noticeably.
Yeah, bit two moves-ish that, but that's fine.
A little bit two moves, but next opportunity for Perez will be into the Ascari chicane.
Now, is it going to claim another victim? Oh, he's right up his chuff, look. There's Yeah, they're going to be side by side going into Ascari.
Can Perez be braver on the brakes? Yes, he is, and Perez retakes that.
Oh, there's a Marshall right there.
brave Marshall. Well, suicidal, really.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's that. He's too far back now to be able to launch another attack. Yeah.
And now he's coming under pressure from Lewis Hamilton now, who's really been quite good in this second stint of the race, as he now challenges Sebastian Vettel. Is Vettel going to defend? Well, he's thinking about it, but Hamilton on the brakes, inside, but Vettel hanging on round the outside.
Yeah, I think he's dropping like a dead body in a canal now, though. I think it's just a matter of time before he gets swallowed up.
I'm just depressed now. That's an easy win gone for Magnussen, but let's see this battle between...
Yeah, sorry if I commentators cursed it.
No, I was a bit nervous before the race, and well, that's why. So it's Bottas versus Raikkonen. Or is this Bottas versus Massa? It's Massa versus Bottas for 6th place. And Bottas having a look at Massa down the straight. Now he's back into the slipstream under the Goodyear Bridge. Massa defending quite firmly. He doesn't really know where to go, and yeah, they think the Marshal doesn't realise that it's green flag conditions now, because Magnussen's car has been cleared. Into the Parabolica, Bottas has got the run. Has he got the brakes to take 6th place off of Massa? Yes, he has. Bottas up into 6th.
Great recovery drive after getting absolutely danked by Vettel in turn 3.
The chicane, the Roger chicane 4 and 5.
I believe danked is a technical term.
Yep. And chop is a technical term for Bottas, and so is karma.
I take it back. I take everything back what I just said. That was shit.
Hamilton versus Vettel into the Parabolica, and that was quite decisively on the brakes for Lewis. Yeah. Now, can he catch Sergio Perez with 12 laps remaining once he crosses the line here?
I don't think the pace advantage is going to be that good.
Well, at the moment, 4.1 seconds is the gap between Perez and Hamilton. But Hamilton has still got Vettel to deal with a little bit. Vettel looking quite menacing. I think for the sake of Lewis Hamilton's championship, he'd better hope that Vettel doesn't come back at him, but he's just keeping his position in check going into the Rogers chicane there. And through the Lesmos, Vettel's still close.
Can he hang on up until Ascari? Maybe he can.
Yeah, he certainly will now that Hamilton went a little bit defensive into Lesmo 2.
Yeah, feeling the need to defend fresh air a bit there.
A little bit, but Vettel going the wrong side.
Jeez Louise, I think he's got out the throttle there, hasn't he, actually? I thought that was just the pace of...
Rosberg! So that's a Mugen failure this time around. And I'm trying to see if there's been other failures elsewhere. I'm trying to see where the Megatron runners are. You've got Vettel, you've got both GRMs still in there. Alonso got total... Oh yeah, we had a Megatron failure in courtesy of Grosjean. So I think every manufacturer has seen a failure in this race. So we're on board with this. Is Bottas and Raikkonen for 6th place.
Trying to make up for his absolute botch job a couple of laps ago.
Well,
okay.
No, he's not quite done it yet.
He was gonna make that, but I think he panicked after the fact, and
he saw Raikkonen coming, and decided to get out of it a little bit.
didn't really need to.
Yeah, I just realised we are in the penultimate lap now, and Perez maintaining 5.2 second lead over Lewis Hamilton. And if Perez holds on to win, which he looks likely to now, then Tornado will set a new record for most wins at a Grand Prix. Currently on 9, this could be his 10th. Oh, Bottas! Well, that's a Megatron problem there. You can see the mechanical light up. So, another Megatron issue.
Got nearly to the end, though.
Nearly. Still be classified, and still fairly decent development for your Megatron units.
Imagine if that happened in real life, where your engine supply went, I nearly got to the end. That's fine, don't worry, you nearly got there. Doesn't matter.
Nearly got there, yeah. And nearly there at the checkered flag is Sergio Perez. Didn't seem to be the quickest all race, but the Tornadoes have been very reliable, not just in this race, but all season. They've had 2 mechanical issues all season, although one of them did come on the last lap in Hungary. And after a few struggles in the recent races where Tornado looked to have at best the 3rd best car, they've bounced back in style because they're 1st and 4th, and well, both Mitchells are in the top 8, but I think it looks like a 2-horse race between those 2 teams. But as for the Drivers' Championship, well, let's find out a little bit later how that looks, as we see Sergio Perez exiting the Parabolica, and he's going to take yet another victory. And Tornado's 10th Italian Grand Prix win. It's certainly a lucky Grand Prix for Tobias. And let's see the rest of the race result now. It should be Hamilton in 2nd, and Sebastian Vettel gets Shake and Bake's first podium of the season.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm happy that it's a podium, but I didn't realise it was the first of the season. Makes sense.
But the main beneficiary in the championship, definitely Lewis Hamilton. And he's looking very comfortable for the championship now. But the rest of the race results, we got Gonzalez 4th and 2 Meisters in the top 6. That's a welcome result for them. And before this race began, I'm going to be honest, I thought they were heading for last in the championship.
Who will be last now?
Could be Willows. GRM not exactly safe either. And I've got Tony Coast scoring points as well, so that's a good result for Andrew, considering Ricciardo's blow-up in the early stages of the race. And completing the top 8, so that was Cooper Lee. But long list of retirements, more than we're used to seeing.
Yep. Double DNF for you and Gajera.
And Pedersen, and Exelite as well. So quite a lot of double DNFs, but I'm gutted about that for Magnussen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was surprising because he hasn't really made any mistakes this season, I don't think.
No, he was comfortable in it as well, and as a result, he's now 20 points behind Lewis Hamilton, who now is 13 points ahead of Sergio Perez, and Gonzalez moving up to 3rd, 15 points behind Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's still an outside chance, but you can't be doing stuff like that if he wants to be a championship contender, really. Yeah,
he can't afford to do silly mistakes like that. And Vettel moving up to 10th in the championship, moving ahead of Roman Grosjean, who was last seen making a barbecue. And the Constructors' Teams Championship lead is now 21 points for Tornado, ahead of Mitchell, and FJR looking a bit more lonelier in 3rd, having had both cars retire for different reasons. Exelite and Andrew tied for 4th, and Pedersen not far behind. That's going to be a hot battle from here to the end of the season, Exelite, Andrew and Pedersen.
Pedersen have really fallen off. At the start of the season, it looked like they were going to walk it with, was it Rosberg's qualifying pace, but no, they've just, imploded a bit, really. Not much more to say other than that. Imploded a bit like your guy, sadly. So he's very depressed now.
I'm afraid so.
You can't see his face because this is radio, but he's not looking happy.
Let's see if my happiness can be redeemed at the next race, which will be the Portuguese Grand Prix at Portimao. So from the two of us, we shall see you for then.
Bye.